That early morning, as the rain fell as if the sky had collapsed on the city, the street sweeper walked alone in her tattered raincoat, pushing her heavy broom against the wind when she spotted the man in the light blue suit stumbling by the side of the road, completely soaked, clutching his leather suitcase as if it were his last protection in the world. Her old red pickup truck was just a few meters away, and even exhausted, even cold, even with no time to lose, she braked sharply, opened the door and shouted, "Young man, get inside quickly, or the rain will knock you down before you get home." He hesitated, startled by the unexpected honesty of that simple woman, but he went inside. And as the lightning illuminated their faces from within the cabin, he realized something that would change everything. The next day, seeing her being humiliated by a supervisor in front of everyone, he raised his voice, slammed his briefcase on the table, and said firmly, "If anyone here is going to lose their job, it won't be her. And from today onwards, this woman works directly with me." It was at that moment that fate changed, and she finally discovered who she had truly rescued from the rain: the owner of an empire. Before we delve into this amazing story, tell me which city and state you're watching from. Leave a comment and I'll reply with gratitude. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and like this video. We want to share more stories like this. The early morning hours advanced as if carrying the weight of all the rumors of a city that never looked upon those who cleaned its streets, and the rain fell so heavily that it made the water run through the gutters like makeshift rivers, creating a symphony of thunder that echoed between the silent buildings. The street sweeper walked with firm, albeit tired steps, while her torn plastic raincoat whipped against her legs with each gust of wind. She always started her shift before dawn, when no one saw, when no one thanked her, when no one even imagined that someone woke up at 4 in the morning to leave the streets clean for others. That day, however, there was something different in the air, a feeling that the storm carried more than water, but also a destiny about to shatter. The sky lit up with lightning so intense that it seemed to tear the early morning in two, revealing for fractions of a second the old facades, the swaying trees, and the deep puddles that doubled the weight of her journey. With each step, her soaked boots sank deeper into the dark mud, but she kept going because going was all she had. It had been that way since she was a girl. She pulled her hood further forward, trying to protect her face, but the wind insisted on snatching away every crumb of comfort. The old red pickup truck she used to get around the neighborhoods was parked a few meters ahead, covered by the rain pouring down mercilessly from the sky. The fogged glass, the dim headlights, the noisy engine, everything about it told the story of someone who had never had it easy. Still, that truck was her pride, her only possession acquired through years of sweeping heavy garbage bags, overtime, and a silence known only to those who work hard. When she reached the vehicle, she took a deep breath, as if grateful to have shelter. But before she could get in, something caught her attention, a staggering, dark and frail silhouette, struggling against the rain a few meters ahead. At first, she thought it was just another person trying to get home too late. But when the next flash of lightning illuminated the street, the sight was so clear, it made her heart clench. It was an elderly gentleman, light blue suit, completely soaked, tie loose, head bowed as if carrying far more weight than the leather suitcase clutched between his trembling fingers. He walked slowly, slipping, breathing heavily. Something about that image was so wrong that she couldn't simply turn her back. This wasn't just a man lost in the rain. This was someone about to fall. Without a second thought, she ran to the pickup truck, started the engine with effort, engaged the gear, and moved forward until she was close to the stranger. The windshield wipers creaked, struggling to cope with the heavy water. The headlights illuminated his reflection in the puddle, and for the first time she saw the man's face, a tired expression, frightened eyes, arched eyebrows as if carrying too many secrets. The kind of look that only exists after a lifetime of hidden battles. She forcefully opened the door, still gripping the steering wheel with her other hand, and shouted above the noise of the storm, "Young man, get in quickly. The rain is unbearable. You can't stay there." He slowly raised his face, as if he couldn't believe someone was actually calling him. He seemed confused, vulnerable, out of place, as if this moment were completely different from any other he had ever experienced. There was something almost childlike in the way he held the suitcase, as if he feared losing it. Seeing her insistence, he hesitated for a few seconds, but another flash of lightning illuminated the street, and the force of the wind pushed him aside, almost knocking him over. That was enough for him to decide. He climbed into the truck with difficulty, sat in the passenger seat, and closed the door with trembling hands. The cabin barely had any space, but at that moment it seemed like the safest place in the world. The man breathed slowly, trying to catch his breath, while the street cleaner watched him with the concern of someone who had never seen someone so fragile in such a storm. "Are you all right, sir? Do you want to go home to the hospital?" she asked, firmly but gently. He hesitated to answer, as if each word required strength. I just need to get to the company, please." She frowned. Who needed to go back to work at that hour, in that rain? But she didn't question it. She simply nodded, engaged the gear, and began to drive, braving deep puddles and thunder that shook the dashboard. As they drove on, an eerie silence filled the cabin, not uncomfortable, but filled with something she couldn't name. The sound of the rain hitting the roof seemed to protect them both inside a temporary cocoon. Then a flash of lightning illuminated his face again, revealing details that had previously gone unnoticed. The suit wasn't from just any tailor. The bag looked expensive. His posture, even tired, betrayed someone accustomed to leadership. He wasn't an ordinary man. But she didn't ask anything. She'd never been the type to intrude on other people's lives. She simply drove, steadily, while the storm raged ahead like a warning that this encounter would change everything. And it would change. Because that following morning he would appear at the company where she worked as a garbage collector, but not as the lost man she had left at the gate hours before. He would arrive as who he truly was, the owner of a billion-dollar empire. And when he saw her being humiliated in front of everyone, he would raise his voice with the authority that moved cities and markets, saying slowly, word by word, "If anyone here is going to lose their job, it won't be her. And from today onwards, this woman works directly with me." Little did she know that the man she had saved in the rain carried secrets capable of changing her life forever. The following morning dawned heavy, as if the storm of the early morning had left invisible traces in the air. The city still seemed soaked, and the street sweeper, even exhausted from the previous night, got up early for another day of work, believing that life continued as before. Just another shift, just another struggle, just another day in which no one would remember that she too faced storms to keep the streets clean. She put on her damp uniform, tied her hair back with an old elastic band, and left, still thinking quickly about the man she had left at the door of a large company. He hadn't even thanked her properly, but she didn't expect anything. He wasn't the type to help to receive something in return. He was the type to help because his heart wouldn't allow him to do otherwise. The fine rain that still fell left the asphalt glistening, but there was a strange calm in the air, as if the world were holding its breath before something enormous happened. When she arrived at the company's courtyard, she felt the impact of the usual disdainful gaze of some employees. It was as if the street sweeper's uniform authorized them to treat her as part of the street. Still, she began her routine, collecting wet leaves, splashing cold water on her shoes, trying to ignore the discomfort of being invisible. But she wouldn't remain invisible for long. The shift supervisor, a robust man with a gruff voice, took advantage of the moment when everyone was gathered to unleash sharp words that struck her like blades. "You were late yesterday, and they say the company needs committed people," he shouted for all to hear, even though he knew she hadn't been late. She'd only stepped out for a few minutes to help someone on the street. She tried to explain, but her voice was drowned out by his mockery. "Helping an old man in the rain? Give me a break. Nobody cares about sad stories here. What counts is keeping to the schedule." The humiliation burned her face. Her eyes welled up, but she kept her head held high. She wouldn't give him the pleasure of seeing her crumble. However, when the supervisor took a step forward and pointed at her, preparing to announce a suspension that would take away part of her salary, the main hall door burst open with a bang. The sound echoed like thunder, and for a second everyone stood still. The man who entered wore an impeccable light blue suit, a fabric so sophisticated it seemed out of place in that setting. He walked with firm steps, a leather briefcase in his hands, a serious and determined look in his eyes. It was impossible not to recognize that he was someone important. Whispers began to spread. "It's him, the owner, the chairman of the board." And while the employees murmured, the street sweeper felt a strange wave of familiarity wash over her. That suit, that face, that look she had seen only for seconds inside the truck, illuminated by lightning. It was the same man. The same one she had helped in the rain. The supervisor, noticing the distinguished presence, tried to disguise his rudeness by letting slip a servile smile. "Good morning, sir. We weren't expecting your visit so early. If I had known, I would have prepared." "Shut up." The sentence pierced the room like a cut. The supervisor swallowed hard, and no one dared to breathe. The millionaire, now fully revealed, walked to the center of the courtyard, setting the briefcase on the ground as if depositing upon it all the truth he was about to tell. Then he turned slowly toward the humiliated street sweeper. His eyes met hers, and there was recognition, respect, gratitude, a rare and powerful mixture. "Do you know who I am?" he asked, looking around. Everyone nodded, some almost trembling. "Well, the company may have many employees, but yesterday, only one person offered me help when I needed it most. This woman." He pointed to her with his open hand, as if presenting a treasure. "You can't even imagine the risk I was running. I had a sudden illness in the middle of the storm. I could have fallen, hurt myself, lost consciousness, but she didn't hesitate. She didn't ask who I was. She didn't ask for anything in return. She just acted." "But the supervisor tried to step forward, stammering an explanation, but the millionaire raised his hand, silencing him instantly. "And this morning," he continued, "I walked through these doors and found the person who saved my life being humiliated." The silence became almost unbearable. "If anyone here should be punished," he said, approaching the supervisor, "it's not her." And without looking away, he declared, "You are suspended indefinitely." The supervisor paled, unable to respond. The entire room stopped. The street cleaner, not quite understanding what was happening, felt her eyes burn. She didn't know if it was the memory of the cold rain or the unexpected warmth of recognition. "And as for you," said the millionaire, turning to her, "I need someone I can absolutely trust in my administrative department, someone who sees people, someone who acts, not someone perfect, but someone with heart." She stood motionless. An administrative position. She, who had never had the opportunity for anything other than sweeping the streets and enduring humiliation. "Sir, I don't have enough education," she murmured, too afraid to look directly at him. But the millionaire smiled, a small, sincere smile from someone who knows the value of a difficult life. "Education can be acquired, character not. And you've already shown me that you have what everyone here should have. I want you working directly with me. If you accept, we can start today." She felt her body tremble. For the first time in a long time, someone looked at her not as a shadow, but as someone who mattered. Tears streamed down her face, not of sadness, but of liberation. The employees watched in silence, some with shame, others with surprise, still others with a hint of admiration. The rain outside had lessened, as if the world breathed along with her. It was as if the universe had held her hand that early morning in the storm and was now returning, multiplied, all the good she had sown without expecting anything in return. "I accept," she replied, her voice choked with emotion, but firm. He nodded, picked up his leather suitcase and said, "Then come, the rain has passed. Today begins your time of sunshine." Maid, and when she took her first step beside him, she felt something inside her light up, not because of his position, nor because of his wealth, but because for the first time someone had seen in her what had always existed: dignity, courage, and a heart that, even drenched by storms, never stopped beating. And so, in that courtyard where she was once invisible, she began the greatest turning point of her life, a life that the storm tried to drown, but which was recognized, valued, and finally rescued by the truth that lightning and darkness could not hide. And if this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone you love. Click now to share it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming stories we're preparing with great care for you.